wearing the wrong glasses. I can't see you at all. Good morning, and thank you for your lovely singing. And I must apologise to some people, because I did say I'd let some people know. Isn't that right, Joe? After the minor op that I had on Wednesday, but I thought I'd surprise them instead, because I knew immediately that I would be here today, and I thought, well, I'll just surprise them. I had a procedure called laser peripheral iridotomy. Now, it sounds awful, and it was. It was very, very unpleasant, but it was very, very necessary. I've had eye problems for a while now, and like for years probably, and really, I suppose, a person of my advancing years, I'm age 75, probably shouldn't be still playing and doing this kind of thing. And I visit schools for the Education Authority to support the governors. That's not a job, I'm not employed, I'm just asked would I go and support them. So I do a lot with my eyes, and obviously I play. Now it's really important for me to be able to see the music, and recently it has become more difficult, and I really thought maybe after this procedure that I needed, this minor op, I thought maybe just possibly I'm going to have to give up. So anyway, the thing I have is called closed angle glaucoma, closed angle. We all have angles in our eyes, I'm told. I was told by the original surgeon who saw me 6 months ago. And the angles are like this, little angles in the irises, you know, the wee black bit. And that's how they're meant to be, open, so that they let the fluid go through. Mine were gradually shutting, and he demonstrated that they were almost closed. If they close completely, you have to rush to the Royal and immediately have the surgery. And the thing about it is the surgery opens the angles. But if they close completely, which can happen, they just close, it kills the optic nerve and you're blind, and it's irreversible. So it has been quite a worrying time, but I've just continued, to do what I normally do. It was very unpleasant. I'm not really a wimp. So I was told afterwards I did very well. And everybody loves to be patted on the back after something, don't they, Kathleen? They want to pat it on the back. So afterwards I could have had excessive pain, loss of vision, flashing lights. I had the flashing lights before. So I had the procedure, and before the procedure I was measured, and this eye was at 30, and 30 is excessive pressure and pain, and the fluid can't get through, and 30 is very high, and it's meant to be 18. I sat down after the procedure, he measured me, and it was 18. So almost immediately my eyes weren't full of clouds and stuff hanging in front and flashing lights, and it was amazing. And I went home and I knew that, God willing, I would be here today. I think it's important to realise that the medical profession is amazing. What they can do is they're so trained. They're trained for years, and they do the most amazing things to bodies. You just have to watch some of those programs on the television. I find this an amazing procedure. He just zaps, drills through the irises. Don't listen if you don't like squeamish things. He drills through the irises. He did it twice in both eyes, and I honestly I was anaesthetised, but I nearly hit the ceiling. He sort of knew it was coming. So it wasn't pleasant. I have to see them again in a few weeks, and they may have to do it again. So it's good. It's good. The medical profession is amazing. But if we combine the medical profession with God's gifts to us, there's a wonderful verse in the Old Testament. I'm a student of the Old Testament, and I read Hebrew daily, biblical Hebrew, and it was becoming very difficult to read it. And I'm so glad that I'm able to read it again properly. And there's a verse in Psalm 27, verse 13, and it says, the King David says, I am confident that I can see God's goodness in the land of the living. Reverend Paul mentioned the land of the living earlier. I'm glad that I can see God's goodness in the land of the living. So while we're here, God wants to be good to us. He also wants us to maybe meet together. I go to the prayer meeting here. I don't belong to you, really, other than just playing for you. But I go to the wonderful prayer meeting led by the Reverend Dr. Paul and Carol. And on one occasion, this is an important piece of information, Carol decided that I would be prayed for by the people there, and some people are here today. And I'm not the sort of person who rushes forward for prayer. In fact, I don't know that I've ever actually asked for prayer in my 75 years, which is really a shame. So Carol decided that I was going to be prayed. So I'm sitting like this, what's going to happen next? And it was wonderful. Carol placed her hands above my head, very gently, didn't touch, and I felt the heat. And I believed a few weeks ago that was the healing started. And this church, the minister in this church, preaches Jesus crucified and Jesus risen from the dead, and Jesus in heaven praying for us, waiting for us, sitting at Psalm 112, I think it is, sitting on the right hand of God. We have all that. We have that all here in this denomination, in this church. So that's really my story. And my story, I suppose, might continue for a while yet. And I might be able to continue playing for a while. And a little bit of the story is that happened on Wednesday. On Friday, I drove to Ballycarry and I played at a funeral. So that was very quick. And I just knew I was able to do it. And he, the surgeon, was very pleased with me. So thank you for listening. And pray for each other. Pray for me. Pray for me in my role as musician in your church. And thank you for listening.